Welcome to the Bridal Journey podcast. This season is sponsored by Charlotte. Visit bycharlotte.com.au and enter the code BRIDAL at checkout for 15% off store-wide. Now let's dive into this episode. Welcome to the Bridal Journey podcast. So today we're excited to have Cassandra Lusi with us. So Cassandra is a highly accomplished and sought after global makeup artist specializing in luxury weddings and events. And she also did my wedding makeup. So welcome to the podcast.
Hey.
And you're pregnant.
I am.
How many weeks are you?
34.
34. So thank you so much. I know that it's very hard to breathe and relax and, enjoy the moment when you're this far along in your pregnancy. So
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming along.
I'm sure I'll survive this podcast. I don't know if I could survive many more weddings though at this.
No, not standing.
No.
Not standing on your feet. So you just got back from England where you've been based for a couple of years.
Yeah. So I literally finished a job a few days before I flew home to Australia in Saint-Tropez, and I could not believe I got through like a 4-day wedding. I nearly died.
So like 4 days, like every day you're doing makeup?
Yeah.
Tell us about like some of these, because you have been doing like these amazing weddings everywhere across Europe. Tell me about like some key weddings or like these amazing like moments that you've got to experience as a makeup artist.
Yeah, I've been really lucky. I think I look at the past 4 years and I can't believe some of the jobs I've been on. Obviously, I work all across Europe and I do destinations all over the world. So I've been to like India and I fly to like Asia and everywhere. But Europe is such a big industry for the weddings and they just keep on getting bigger and bigger. Like every single wedding I do, it's just almost tops the one before and they just keep on evolving. It's insane, but they're
I
awesome.
remember last time I spoke to you, you were talking about this wedding. You got asked or something or you couldn't attend, but they flew a whole makeup team for this wedding. You said it was just another level of...
Yeah, I actually worked that wedding.
Oh, you worked it, but you weren't...
it, but it was a wedding in Paris and it was insane. I just remember thinking they had hair and makeup for every guest, every bridal member, everyone. Literally anyone who wanted hair and makeup got it done. And it was a week we were in Paris with this family and it was...
That wasn't the
crazy.
one where the groom got arrested.
I don't think he did get arrested.
It was that wedding though.
But it was that wedding.
The really big global one that went like she went viral on TikTok and then afterwards it was all about her husband getting arrested and
yeah. Oh.
Yeah, so it was that wedding.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. That looks amazing.
It was insane. It was one of the most beautiful weddings. I actually was obsessed with the welcome dinner that the wedding planners had organized. Did you see that in the Opera House?
No.
It was like so magical. But every event they did, it was just... I remember them preparing for the wedding and I have like no allergies. I'm not allergic to like anything. And I was calling my mum. I couldn't breathe while I was working because they had so many flowers in the hotel. I was actually getting an allergic reaction. I had to go to the pharmacy and get like all these antihistamines so I could breathe to work because they had that many flowers just in the hotel.
Wow, that they had decorated themselves, not the hotel.
They removed the... Wedding planners had arranged for like all of the furniture to be removed from the hotel and they had brought in their own furniture and decorations for the lobbies and the walkways and the hallways. And it was
That's kind of like another level, isn't it?
It was like a once in a lifetime wedding, I think. Yeah.
Wow. How much do you reckon? Because didn't they have like numbers on that wedding? It was like a $2-point-something million wedding.
No, that
or
was
more.
Like, I think
was
Australian dollar. I think it was 70 million euro or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like a whole makeup team of like 30 makeup artists.
It could have been more.
Yeah, wow.
There were a lot of people that were brought in for that wedding.
And, you've flown everywhere to do makeup. What's your favorite wedding venue in the world that you've been to?
Wedding. Oh my gosh. Well, my wedding venue was gorgeous. No.
Yes, yours was. Yes.
I love Italy. Italy is so beautiful. I don't know what my favorite
like any
is.
particular area where you're like this.
There are so many beautiful ones, but they're sometimes so hard to get to.
Yeah.
that you kind of
It's not worth it.
Yeah. You
You're
kind of do it once or twice.
like
I'm like, I don't want to go back
Positano, you
there.
fly into
Oh my gosh.
Rome, whatever. Then you got to get a car for like 2 hours and then drive down this scary mountaintop to get there. It's just
I am doing some. I just worked in Saint Tropez. That was a really beautiful venue. I think things that are easy to get to are nice, but France has become so popular in the past like 12, 18 months, whereas it used to be so Italy based.
interesting.
I don't know. They're also beautiful. Like if you go to like Spain, they have like,
You've
everywhere.
done like Como and
Yeah,
is that like a
Como.
given amazing, or are you
I
just
think
like could be
Como
overrated?
is like a little bit for me. I think I just worked
Just
too
done.
many weddings in like
Well,
Como.
we've seen like Villa Balbiano.
Yeah.
Is that
And
how you
that's
pronounce
a
it?
nightmare to work at. I would
Yeah.
never recommend
With
that
boats
venue.
and everything. You've got to get boats there.
No, it's the venue. Like it's literally, they treat it like a historical like venue, and they say that everything's like antique. So you're not even allowed to sit on like the couches.
Really?
Yeah. You're not allowed to drink anything other than water.
What?
Yeah, it's wild.
So what, you couldn't have like a champagne while you're getting ready or something?
Not in the rooms. No, you can only have it in like the patio.
What?
Yeah,
That's wild.
it's
That kind of takes away
wild.
the fun of it, doesn't it?
And you know what?
There's nothing
No one
better than like
knows.
getting ready with your friends and
nobody knows until they actually have to be on their day, and they're like, no food and drink in the
disappointed.
hotel rooms, no this, no that, and it's just like
a
so
bit of
sad.
a buzzkill. I love how you did my poor little me, my makeup in Torquay, Surf Coast,
Still
3
beautiful
years ago,
house.
and then next minute you're
Yeah, it's pretty
flying
crazy.
across the world, going to these like amazing, $1 million weddings. I love it.
Yeah, I know, it's pretty.
Well,
special.
I mean, like for a bit of background of our listeners, Cass and I both used to work retail at Chadstone, and you were at Country Road and I was at Sassenbide, I think at the
Yes.
time when we were like, this was like 15 years, 20 years ago.
This was
long
when we were in
time.
our
Well, we're 34 and I would have been like 18 or something.
yeah,
It's a long time ago.
I think I was like, yeah.
And we used to like, how you make retail friends, pop into each other on our breaks and
I
chat.
practiced on you.
So we've known each other. Yeah. So Cass we kind of left our job. I was at uni, I think, at the time, and you were in finance.
being an
And I had a
accountant.
blog called Snob at the time, and it was kind of when Instagram started, and we had a bit of a following. So Cass used to do like our makeup for free for like events and stuff. So it's
Yeah.
like pretty amazing to see your journey. I think and like know you for so long.
I know, it's nice.
Yeah, just a bit of a background. So yeah, it's
I feel
amazing
like my
seeing what
makeup
you're
has
doing.
Definitely gotten better since when
Then
I used to do.
we should pull up a photo. I'm
We
sure
should
there's
do
a
before and
photo
after.
somewhere. Yeah, that you did. Anyway, so let's like dive into like makeup.
Yeah.
So my first question is, I really want to start with skincare. We interview like a lot of skincare experts, but they're not the ones that are doing the makeup, I guess, on the day. I did see like someone say, or maybe it was like a makeup, you get your little info. I got some makeup done the other day. It was like, please don't do this, please don't. And it was like, put on a face mask. Like, a lot of brides might, because it like can create like a bit of a film on your face. So like, tell me about like skincare prep for the wedding day. Like, first, let's start with like what skincare things you think are amazing to do in the lead up to your wedding. Any skincare products people could be using from a makeup artist point of view.
Yeah.
Something that you find when brides come in with this beautiful skin, like commonalities that you find for skin.
I think it's a really good way. So I'm obviously coming from a makeup artist
Point of view, not a skin
point of view.
expert.
So I'm not a skin
Yeah.
expert. So not everyone take everything I'm saying for Bible, because you might be allergic to things or anything. But I do feel like, especially in the world we live in, we can get so caught up in doing everything and overworking skin. And it's like the most common thing. I'll have a girl come in for her trial 6 months, 12 months before her wedding, and her skin is good. And then she goes off and she gets overwhelmed, and then she ends up doing, laser, microdermabrasion, like this, that, like everything under the sun. And then she sits in the chair and her face is so overworked, like her skin is so overworked that the makeup just doesn't sit well on the skin. And I think it's such a common thing that happens, but once it's so overworked, the only thing that can fix that is time, and you don't have time when you're a bride. You can't just be like, well, let's just move the wedding 6 months later. And so I find that really hard to kind of tell brides to just be as less is more. But there are so many great things on the market that can really change skin in like little ways. So like brightening, tightening, all of those things, they're so good. I think if you're trying to remove scarring, pigmentation, you need those stronger like skin procedures. That's something different, but I probably wouldn't do that before your wedding. So something I really love is basic skincare routines, because I always ask my brides, no retinols, no serious actives in the lead up, 4 days before the wedding, just because you get like lots of peeling, lots of balling. And I always do like a little skin prep myself anyway. I actually worked with an amazing makeup artist. She is a massive celebrity makeup artist over in Europe, and she's so talented. And she takes minimum 3 hours to do one person's makeup. And I was like, what can you do on someone's face for 3 hours? And we worked together for a few days. And by the end of it, I was like, this is why you need 3 hours. Her skin prep for the pretty much 2 of the 3 hours was insane. But she also did the less is more approach, and she used more devices than she did actual skin product, if that makes sense. So something I love doing is like those ice globes.
What are they?
They're like, have you not seen them? They've got like the balls at the end and a little stick, and you put them in the freezer.
Oh, yeah. They were on Shark Tank, and I couldn't believe that they created that product and they're making millions. And I was like, literally all you've done is create a product that holds ice in it.
Yeah, well,
genius.
These are like,
so wait, they're good. So we need to get them.
They're amazing, and they're not expensive. You can do it yourself at home on
Well,
your
you could
wedding
use an
day.
ice block.
You can, but then ice block can also cause like other problems and like.
So what's the difference between that though?
So these ones are like they're like I don't know what they're made out of exactly on the inside of them, but they're just like metal.
Oh, so it's not like a cone that you filled with water to make. No. This is what I saw.
Okay.
And it was just literally like.
Do you want me to show you what they are, so you can like understand?
Yeah.
Anyway, the backstory is like it originated in, I think it was like Japan in like the 70s. This whole technique of like putting something really cold on your skin, and then it kind of restricts the blood vessels. So then when that releases, that the new blood that comes to your skin is fresh and new. So it gives you that glow, brightness, tightening.
That flushed, like natural, that beautiful look.
That beautiful look that everyone wants. And it's like literally just using something cold on your face. Let me do this. Ice globes. I just came up with ice globes Kmart. So you can pretty much get them anywhere.
Oh, yeah. So they're like look like a roller, like a.
Yeah, so you can like buy them pretty much.
So
anywhere.
Okay, so skin prep. So we use the ice rollers.
Like I would do an ice roller ever before I would put a face mask on someone.
Okay.
I just think that if your skin isn't prepped to absorb with the face mask we're putting on, there's pretty much no point in you doing it, because it's just a time filler kind of, a luxury thing. If you want to get you and your bridesmaids some under the eye patches, it's not because it's going to actually change your under eyes.
Really?
It's more for one of those things.
It doesn't change your under eyes?
No.
Oh, damn.
If they've been in the fridge, the cold is actually the thing that would probably be
most beneficial.
Yeah. So I always say girls that buy them, I don't want them to go to waste. So I'm like, chuck them in the fridge or the freezer for like 20 minutes, and then put them on, and the cold will actually do more than the actual, because the product, like, they're not that expensive, and
right.
And I think that they put a film on your skin, like how you said.
Yes. And this was off camera. We were talking about. Yeah. Was it off camera, or did I mention it before?
I think you mentioned it on.
Oh, yeah. The face mask can create a film, which makeup artists don't like, because it can bowl your makeup up.
Yeah, it can bowl your makeup.
So the same goes with the under eye mask. So not the night before.
I don't think you need to buy them. I think that save your money and buy a nice lipstick for your wedding day instead, because that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
And also another really good tip is like getting like a big bowl and filling it with some ice and ice water, and then chucking your face in the water and just like holding it for 15 seconds or 10 seconds, how long you can hold it for, and then drying it off, and then doing it 2 or 3 times. And I'm telling you, that will be more beneficial than doing.
So we do this on the morning of.
Morning of, like 20 minutes before your makeup starts.
Okay.
Or your hair.
That's a good tip.
It's so
something
good.
I haven't heard before.
You should try it. If you go out the night before, especially girls who do multiple day weddings, I'm always like, here's your bowl of ice, chuck your face in there. Deep puffs rejuvenates that blood to your skin, which gives that glow, and it just starts to skin preppers.
So this is what you learned from this makeup artist. So we need to do the ice. The ice
She
cube.
actually did do she did the ice.
Yep, so we did
the
the
ice
ice.
bowl.
What else for skin prep?
Skin prep is just like keeping it really simple, moisturizer, good eye cream. To be honest, I really love the Charlotte Tilbury magic cream because it actually doesn't have that much in it. So it doesn't ruin makeup, and it just gives a really good quick plump to the skin. Like, it's so good for event makeup because it gives that hydration, that instant boost. I actually don't use skincare products for wedding makeup. It's just too active. It's too thin. It's not built for makeup, if that makes sense. You should always use a moisturizer that's built for makeup. It will last longer. It'll just do a better job.
So the Charlotte Tilbury
magic cream, it's so good.
Built for makeup. So don't use your like active moisturizer from Is Clinical or something.
No.
But your makeup artist will generally come with skincare anyway. So
yeah, your makeup
bare
artist,
face, but perhaps they may not. So just be prepared in case.
Yeah, I always say if I'm doing an afternoon makeup, I always say to the girls, put your skincare on in the morning, and then by the time I come, I'm gonna remove it anyway. So it would have done what it has to do. But if I'm doing an early morning glam, just wash your face, like put some cold water on it, and then I'll prep your skin myself.
Great. Next, do we need to be spray tanning our face?
You do not spray tan your face.
Nah. Why?
Well, first of all, we should be having a glow, not a full-on tan color change. So if you're going from one extreme to the other, you can consider a light spray on the face. But most brides and girls these days, they just want that glow. They don't want to be that. Remember when we were younger, we wanted to be tanned. Like, everyone just wants to be nice and glowy and look like sun-kissed. Your makeup artist will be able to match you. But also, we have dry patches on our face. We have pores. The spray tan will get in there. Have you ever had a spray tan on your face and you have those black dots on your nose, or sometimes
collects
on your
in
chin?
your pores and dry bits. Yeah,
you can't take that out unless you exfoliate it out, and that will just then ruin the makeup because you're exfoliating right before a makeup application, which you don't want to be doing as well. So my biggest tip is no tan. Even if some people are like, oh, don't worry, I'll just do a light spray.
Yes.
You know, when you go to the spray tan places,
just
if your makeup artist is good, she can match you, or he can match you perfectly. You do not need to spray tan your face.
And is there anything else we need to do for like wedding day preparation in terms of like things you're like, oh, why did you do like eyebrow lamination, for instance? Yes, no. Should we be tinting our eyebrows the week before? Like, is there?
So another thing why I don't like spray tan on the face is because of eyebrow tinting. If you get your eyebrows tinted and you put a spray tan, it always interacts and it makes your eyebrows go green. It's the worst. So don't do that.
Okay.
Eyebrows should be done a week before your special event, just because you can get pimples. If something happens, you got time to recover. And eyebrows don't grow massively in a week anyway. And a lamination needs at least a week to dull down and it not be stuck to your face. Have you ever had one before?
Yeah.
So you know how at the start it's like that really like stuck.
I have very minimal eyebrows, but yes.
Well, I just feel like it's super stuck to your face and it's always sitting up really high, just to have that natural.
Yeah, a bit more natural for your wedding day.
The whole point of a eyebrow lamination is to soften your brow hairs. So when you or your artist go and put brow gel, they will stay in place because they're softer and they've been like chemically like changed to be softer pretty much. They're not actually, so they are stuck to your face upright. So you have to wait for that period to kind of subside and the glue to come out. And
do you think like eyelash curl lifts should we do that, not do that?
If you want lash extensions, I'm going to go with a definite no. If you want a really natural lash and you just want to put some mascara on your lash and you always get a lash lift, go for it. But just don't expect your artist to.
Do you think that most brides should be putting false lashes on, or does it depend case by case?
I think it just depends on the bride, her vision. I put lashes on like probably 90% of my clients, but I use super natural soft ones that are so undetectable that you wouldn't even know, as do most makeup artists. I did have a bride once, and I tell you, she was one of the most stunning brides I had ever done. I was so looking forward to doing her wedding, and I get to her wedding day and she just looked kind of different. And I said, "What did you do to your lashes?" And she had gotten them, like someone had offered, she works in the skincare industry, and someone had offered to give her a lash lift, and they had over curled them and kind of singed them. We couldn't even get mascara through them to like straighten them out.
Oh,
And it
no.
was so sad because she still looked stunning, but she could have been, her natural beautiful self
Yeah.
without ruining her life.
So, yeah, you can go, as you said, like less
because
is
you
more, and
can't
you
undo
can,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
or test things a couple of months out with that
I don't even
person.
risk it.
All right, so let's discuss bridal makeup trends.
Cool.
So what trends have you observed in bridal makeup recently? Is there anything particular that brides are kind of after and looks that you think suit everybody?
Yeah, I think everyone's really leaning towards, I think for hair and makeup, it's that really undone hair. I don't know if you've noticed that there've been so many of those. I've had quite a few recent brides that almost just want not even really a bouncy blowout, just that smoothed kind of not straightened hair. It's got a bit of a bend to the end. Had you watch, who was it? Olivia Culpo? Did she get married recently?
Yeah.
Did you see her hair?
Yeah.
It was so natural, and it still
Just looked like she'd washed it, brushed it, and it dried like naturally beautiful.
yeah, and it looked undone, but it looked stunning. And I think girls are really letting everything else kind of speak for themselves, if that makes sense. Like soft hair, soft makeup. I don't think anyone's really going for, there's no like strong blush anymore, or there's, how the pink was really in at one stage.
Contouring heavily and
No, everyone just wants to
that fresh glowing.
everyone just wants to look fresh and happy. Honestly, that's like a word I'm started to use in my trials. It's like, I think you should look fresh and happy.
Yeah, I like that.
There's nothing better than a fresh, happy, glowing bride.
Yeah, I love that. Now, let's talk product recommendations. So, are there any products you suggest kind of brides use? Just, I know obviously they're getting makeup artists in to do their makeup, but like what do you think? Like, there might be makeup artists listening, or perhaps they might do something for the recovery or the day before.
Yeah.
Like any like top product recommendations that you like, this, like the best foundation, the best, like I want specific product names and things that you're like, this is like everyone needs this in their makeup kit.
So a product that I pretty much use on, I would say 90% of my clients is the Home Beauty Primer. Have you tried it?
The what?
Home Beauty. The owner is actually from Melbourne.
Yeah, she's Geelong based. Hillary Holmes.
Yeah. Have you tried her primer?
No.
It is insane.
Primer.
It's a really, really good primer.
Right.
And it's great for people who have oily skin, who have dry skin. It's not heavy, and I feel like it's a really good adhesive product. I feel like she made it to go with so many skin types as well. And it's really soft. So it's kind of like softens your complexion before you even have to put on foundation. So it's already doing half the job of the foundation before you even have to apply it. So you'll be using less foundation, which I love. I really still love using a damp beauty blender, especially like on myself. I find I actually have a great tip. So, and I started doing this maybe like a year ago. I would buy like heaps of beauty blenders and I'd put them in my kit, like brand new ones. And every time I would do a bride that I knew I wasn't doing a touch up for, or I wasn't going to be around to see them later on, I would actually like completely drench it, and I would use that as my main applicator in conjunction sometimes with a brush. But I would always always mix foundations on my hands. And then I would because I always use like 2 or 3 foundations that I mix. And I would always like use that beauty blender, and then I would seal it in like a Ziploc bag and give it to them. And it's literally like an eraser through the night. So like if you're eating, or if you're smiling, or if you get someone's lipstick on you, it is literally like an eraser. And you just like, because it doesn't have so much product on it, because I've worked it already into your skin. You can use under your eyes, like in your creases, and it just like reinvigorates your makeup, makes it look fresh again, and it's a really good tip.
So what? It's just like you don't need to reapply. So if I need to fix up my under
You
eye, would
literally
I
take
just
out your
pat
beauty
that out?
blender. Yeah.
Cool. That's
And
a good
like,
tip. So you're not
yeah.
like over applying then some more concealer under your eyes and like caking it on or making it crease or go crepey.
And you already have it
Just
color
making it
matched.
fresh.
You're literally just, it's like an eraser. It's like just undoing if anything has gone wrong or if you've gone oily in like your T-zone and you just want to,
Yeah.
trust me.
Favorite foundation for brides?
Like
a good go-to?
Yeah, I really, really love the Shiseido foundation. It's their new Revitaliscence Glow. And you can mix that with anything, but it is a beautiful it's like skin-like.
Okay.
It's really beautiful. You should try it.
All right. I need to get you to write me a list.
It's a really good foundation.
Blush? Good go-to?
I love the nude sticks, cream blushes.
Mm-hmm.
They have good longevity, great colors, then easy to use. Have you ever got one?
No. Where
So
am
good.
I think I'm
you
a
can buy
Charlotte
them from
Tilbury kind of
Sephora.
girl. I've got all my blushes and Stuart Weitzman.
Yeah,
I really like
so
their blush.
They had nude sticks was around before Stuart Weitzman ever did.
Okay.
No, not Stuart Weitzman. Westman Atelier.
Yes, Stuart Weitzman's a shoes. What is it? What?
Westman Atelier.
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah, it's a really good blush.
Okay, so nude sticks, and then are we going for like a rosy pink blush? Like what kind of blush are people going
I think
for?
pinks are really in still.
Just like a nice
like a soft
pink pastel pink. Yeah. Okay,
Nothing
so we've got
too
that
orange.
for mascara. Like, should we be doing waterproof mascara for our wedding day events?
Always.
Hence,
waterproof.
okay.
Yeah.
Any particular?
I don't want to say mine because it always sells out and it's so hard to find. I love I use a Giorgio Armani waterproof Eyes to Kill. It's very hard to find. It is by far the best mascara for a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
But any waterproof mascara that you have tried and tested, if you're doing your own makeup, use it. Try it, test it though. I also really love tubular mascaras as well.
Yeah, so Kevin O'Coin do that.
Kevin O'Coin has a good one. They don't
yeah.
really give any blackout underneath the eye. You don't want panda eyes.
No.
You know what I mean?
And is there any good concealer? Good go-to?
The Shiseido concealer is amazing as well. That's
so like that for foundation and concealer.
It's really, really good.
Okay. And in terms of like, this is a little bit off topic, but filler and Botox or, anti-wrinkle and filler, should I say. What do you recommend like brides doing for that? Because I suppose when I got married, we dialed back the anti-wrinkle so I could have expression on the day and, so we kind of like, is there anything like, because you're working with people's faces all the time, is there anything that you're like, you shouldn't have got filler in your lips like a week before? Like any tips involving like you as a makeup artist working on people's faces to do with those kind of treatments?
Yeah, I think especially Botox, you want at least 3 weeks before your wedding. I would even do longer. I think Botox looks the best on people probably like 3 to 4 weeks after it's been done, just because it has a little bit of time to soften, and then you don't get that line down the center of your, that line that you can get. You don't get that line. So I got before my wedding, I got the skin injections all over my face.
Skin booster?
I got skin boosters and I found them to be amazing.
I know, I've heard they're amazing.
My skin really was insane.
So essentially for like the listeners, that is putting in like a mild dose of like Botox anti-wrinkle across your face, but it's not like it's filling it, isn't it? Isn't that what a skin booster is?
No, skin boosters are skincare that you inject in your face.
Oh, so it's not actually, I thought it was like a bit of anti-wrinkle product in there.
No, but it does kind of soften out your skin though, because it like plumps you up.
Yes, yeah.
But it isn't anything artificial.
Okay.
Like it's not a Botox, it's not a filler. It's meant to be skincare that you inject into your face. Like, you can get so many different types these days, but also, have you heard of the new salmon sperm?
Yes, I know. We had Jade from Facial Rejuvenation on an earlier episode she's like salmon balls, and I had no idea what she was talking about, but that's meant bioremodeling,
and
isn't it?
that I have seen amazing results.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
She said the same.
So I actually was booked in to get it done. I found out I was pregnant the day or 2 days before my appointment. And I called my, the guy that in London who I trust with my life. And I was like, I just found out I'm pregnant. But if I didn't test and I had it done anyway, and he was
Would
like,
I be fine, hypothetically?
would. And he's like, you've told me I can't do it. And I was
Oh, no.
devastated. So I never got it done. But the results are amazing. It takes a little longer than like a filler would because the filler is obviously very instant. But its long-term effects are
Yeah,
way
apparently it's like
better.
amazing for like collagen building and stuff.
Have you seen some of the before and afters?
No. Is it like pretty instant or do you need like 3 treatments to?
I think 2 treatments you see definite results. And then I think 3 treatments it's like you've had filler.
Yeah. Oh.
But it's like a natural.
Where I go, they're testing it at the moment, so I'm hoping that they bring it in.
Yeah, the UK is the skin boosters were a massive thing when I was like started to live
Yeah,
there.
now they're coming in Australia. We're always
now
like,
yeah,
and now we're
so-
kind of trialing the salmon,
It's amazing. I think
whatever they are,
take off now.
bioremodeling. Yeah, I've heard. Jade spoke really highly, and she's obviously a huge skin expert.
Yeah, I think people are moving away from Botox and filler because it just doesn't look as natural.
Yeah, everyone's moving away from filler at the moment. Yeah. It's like a huge. People are really kind of stepping away. Obviously, like a little bit in your lips and stuff, but that whole facial puffiness look, people are,
like
moving away
filler and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you have any tiny little genius things to elevate your look? Like, how do we look snatched? Is there anything like, crease-free concealer? Anything that we can do to like really just those little like tiny. I know you've got the tip
Beauty
about
blender.
like the beauty blender and wetting that and having that in your thing. But anything else that you could highly recommend?
I'm just trying to think of something that. Always having your lip touch up is important. I feel like it's such a.
Oh, and lip combo. What should people buy?
Yeah, people always forget about lips.
Yes.
And they get to their wedding and they're like, "Did you bring your lip for the day?" And they're like, "No, I forgot."
No, what's like a good combo because it's not always necessarily going to match what's in the makeup kit. So is there anything?
Do you know, this is a bit of an expensive one, but the Victoria Beckham lipsticks are stunning.
Well, people might invest in something like that for their wedding day.
And there's also this YSL one, and I forgot the name, but if you go into a shop, you'll see it. If you Google it online, it's like gold, and then it's got the YSL in gold, and then the color of the lipstick is like in the lid, if that makes sense. It's a really cute little, and it's like a gloss but a lipstick at the same time. And
so you need something a bit hydrating, would you say, rather than like a matte lipstick for your wedding day, or it could depend?
I always go for something with a bit more of like a sheen or a natural finish. Something too dry, like my lips are so dry being pregnant, and I can't even put a lipstick on them because it will just like when you're dehydrated and you've got a lipstick on your lips, it'll just absorb whatever moisture you have put on, and then it will leave like that chalky. And I think that's the worst look because you can't it's not normal to have to reapply every half an hour or hour on your wedding day, like going to get your lipstick and retouch up. You want something that like will wear with you. So like the Chantecaille lip cheeks are beautiful. They're like got the Hydra lip cheek thing that is stunning. But I do love putting your lip liner on and then buffing it out with a brush, so you don't have to like I think
have the drawn line.
Yeah, is not having that lip liner.
Yeah,
and just like buffing it out.
And not on your wedding day. I don't think it's like a look that most people would be after anyway.
I think that more that like blotted lip is like so beautiful at the moment. And even like a lip stain, if you just want like to take a lip stain so you don't have to keep on
and in terms of lips, like is there anything that they should put on the night before, like any lip treatments that are amazing too, to just like really hydrate and plump their lips?
Yeah, I think like the night before or the weeks leading up, the night before, the morning of, I think when you're going to get your makeup done in the next 2 hours, that's when you should stop hydrating them, because then nothing will stick and then you'll just be frustrated the fact that your lips aren't staying on. So I think that's a good tip, is like stop, doing lip hydration probably about 3 hours before your application starts, just so then it actually.
I thought that you put your lip balm on while you're getting your makeup done.
Everyone
so
does
don't
the
do
same
that.
thing. No,
just don't apply it because
like
the
to
makeup
slap
artist
it
is
out of your
coming
hand.
early in the morning, right? So don't like I would honestly like wash my face and then put a lip thing on straight for the makeup artist so my lips. So don't do that. Just night
No.
before and you're all good.
Night before, and like unless you're literally cracking and bleeding, I think that you should just try and hydrate prior to the day.
Okay, great. And so makeup trials, are they crucial for brides to finalize their wedding day look? And what advice do you give brides to ensure a successful and productive trial session with their makeup artist?
So trials are so important, and I advise like I get flown out for trials because I do think they're so important. The sweet spot for trials would be between the 3 to 5 months before the wedding, 2 to 5 months before the wedding. If you're doing them in a year and a half in advance, they're useless. Like you're not going to want the same thing. You're not going to have your dress. You're not going to have your vision down to a T. I feel like a wedding or a special event, a look is completely cohesive. You don't just put a makeup look on someone. You know, it has to match the style of the hair. It has to match the dress, has to match the setting. And if it's a romantic style, you know, like there are so many things that come into what blush I pick. Like people think you just like pick up the blush that's, you know, in your kit, but I probably have about 20 blush colors between creams and powders, maybe even more. And there is so much that goes on in my mind before I pick a color to put on someone. It's not just, oh, she has olive skin tone. It's, you know, the color cream of her shoes. It's the color.
Well, I mean, that's a whole color analysis thing at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. And
Hair color, eye color, skin color.
Yeah, but there's so much more, like what color her flowers, what color is her venue? Like, is she going to have a well lit venue, or is it going to be a really moody venue that's only candlelit? Like, you know, who's her photographer? I always think that is so important. I will change a makeup look based on a photographer sometimes because I'm telling you, it can completely change someone's wedding photos. But yeah, there's so much that goes into a trial, and I think doing it as close to the wedding as you can without risking, you know, getting anxious because you haven't met your makeup artist yet or whatever that is. Because you really want to spend as much time as you can with with your bride, get to know them, get to know really what they want without just like having that 1 or 2 hour session of like, oh my God, yeah, this is what I do on everyone, that smoky brown eye. And, you know, you want to really understand them. So then the bride doesn't have to think about her makeup until the day when you get there. Because otherwise, I feel like if I've ever rushed through a trial or the bride has given me 1 hour because she has to go to an event and I feel like I haven't learned anything, there's just so much communication and so much back and forth. There's more photos sent than there has to be. And I love this makeup and I love this makeup. And then there's like 5 different styles across 5 images. And then I'm like, none of them are the same. You're not going to look like any of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just trials are important. Having time for a trial. If your makeup artist tries to rush you through a trial, find someone else. You know, I can spend 3 hours on a trial and still be like, oh, before you go, you know what I mean? Like, because it makes the makeup on the day go so quickly because you know exactly what you're doing. If you take good notes and you have a good memory yourself, you know, yeah, trials are so important.
And do you have like any advice for people listening about finding a makeup artist? Like,
yeah, I think when you look at someone's profile, back to the trial, so have your hair color as close. Like the worst thing is when a bride comes and she's like, so my hair hasn't been done in 4 months and I'm going to get it done 2 weeks before the wedding. So it's going to be completely different blonde. And I'm like, great. You know, like, or I'm definitely going to have a spray tan, but I don't have one now. And she's like translucent white and she's going to have a beautiful glow. Her makeup is going to be very different. Or someone who comes like 8 months in advance and hasn't started their skincare yet or their skincare routine. And they're like, oh, don't worry about my skin. It's going to be fine. It's like, why are we here?
Yeah.
So just try and have everything as prepped and as close to the wedding as you, like if you're planning on having a facial a week before the wedding, have a facial a week before your trial. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So make it pretty consistent with what you're going to do that day.
And then your question was about
finding a makeup artist. Any tips?
Just when you're on social media, like try and find some images on their profile that look similar to you, your similar colorings, and see if you like the way that they do that person's makeup. I think that's a really good tip. Um, I also think just getting along, feeling really confident and getting along with someone so you can be like, I actually hate that eyeliner. Can we just take it off a bit? No makeup artist should ever have any, if they have low confidence on because they're scared you're not going to like it, that's something different. But if a makeup artist gets upset because you don't like how you've done something, it's probably not someone for you. You want to be able to be like, oh my God, this lip color, like this isn't what I wear every day. And it's like, oh, we'll just try something else.
And I think like that's a good point too, feeling confident with them, because you might find this as a common thing. Please let me know. But on the day when I got my makeup, you know, I was fine all morning. But then as soon as I sat in the chair to get my makeup done, I freaked
Yeah,
the
'cause
fuck
it's
out.
like it's real.
That's when I started to actually get extremely nervous. But like having you there, like we're friends, I get along with you really well. You immediately made me feel like I could like start to breathe, and we had like, I started to forget about being nervous, and we had like a good chat. So I suppose it's like, you know, picking your hairdresser, you know, when you're there with them for like 2 hours, this is like a really important day. So you want to get along with the person.
Yeah, vibes are
Because I
important.
just, do you find that a lot of brides get immediately very nervous when they're getting their makeup done?
It is the hardest thing because it's what I don't want for them, but it's natural because the photographer arrives, the florist arrives. You very quickly realize you're on a time schedule when it's your turn to sit in the chair because it's like, oh, okay, that means I leave
Makeup,
in
getting
2 hours.
dressed straight away, and then
Yeah. And then the photographer's like, where are your shoes? Where's your bag? Where's your this? Where's your that? And it's just like total overwhelming. Oh my gosh, I'm going to walk down the aisle in 2 or 3 hours or however long. But when you're watching everyone else get the makeup done, you're like, oh, I've got ages. And then it's your turn. You're like, oh, I'm the
yeah,
last
I
one.
think that's when you start to like,
Yes.
even now thinking back to it, I'm starting to get anxious. You're just like sitting there like, oh
I
no,
know.
like I'm suddenly getting really nervous now. And then in terms of the day,
Yeah.
hair and makeup, what do you do first? And then secondly, like organizing your bridesmaids, like when should you fit in as a bride? When should you do the bridesmaids? How should you organize hair and makeup? Is there a good formula for that?
Yeah, so it depends on the bride and the bride's skin, if I'm completely honest. If the bride can have her makeup done and it not move for 6 hours, she can go last. But I kind of like to always do someone in between the bride and when the bride has to get dressed, because then you have some time to come back and kind of perfect the skin or whatever you have to, because the makeup sat in, it's like absorbed a bit, and then you can go in and make it like really perfect. And I think that's always a really good tip. If you have the time, don't go last, go second last, and then give yourself or give the makeup artist 15 minutes, 20 minutes just as your second makeup application, touch up, whatever you want to call it. And with hair and makeup, I do both, and I always prep the hair first, do makeup, and then it depends on the hairstyle. Like if you're having a slick bun, you can kind of do it first. If you're having an elaborate updo, like it depends. Like if your hair drops, get your hair done at the end.
Mm-hmm. So no hard and fast rule.
Yeah, and it's also a really good, like I said, bride probably always shouldn't go last. So if the bride's getting her makeup done, then she's getting her hair done, and then she can come back to your chair and then have her makeup touch-ups, and you can finish it. And if the hairspray or, you know, hair gel's gone on the face or something, you can take it off. And
Great. And are there any last tips or advice for brides when it comes to makeup?
I don't know. There's so many. I feel like I've given some good ones, but do you need anything specific? Like, just feel really confident with your makeup artist. Have a second trial. There is nothing wrong with a second trial. I had a girl in May who got married, and we ended up doing, I think, 4 trials. Her wedding makeup ended up being her first trial, but that's a different story. But her confidence on the wedding day was so different because she had to try different things and she had to try different foundations. Her skin, she had a really bad period of her skin condition, so we really needed to get to the final, even though it was the original makeup look, it was like a round circle. And her confidence on the day was, if we only had done one, it would have been a completely different wedding day for her.
Okay. So it was more about her like making sure she'd made the right decision with that.
Yeah. And also sometimes you just like, you might think, oh my gosh, I have to pay for another trial. Or you had a trial with someone, you've put a deposit down, and then you're panicking because you don't love them. And then you're like, but I don't want to lose my money. There's no real figure on how you're going to feel on your wedding day. And I try and tell people all the time, I'm like, you might lose a couple $100 canceling on someone you've put a deposit down on. But how you're going to feel for your whole wedding day is going to feel so much more calm and relaxed. Finding a makeup artist you really love and someone you feel confident in, rather than just sticking with someone because you've had to book them and you liked their Instagram but that you didn't get along or the makeup wasn't for you. And I think it's like you can't put there's no $200. You're not going to walk down that aisle feeling anxious because you've had a bad morning, you had a fight with your makeup artist, or you didn't get along with them, you don't love the way you look. Just, if you can and you can afford it, have a second trial, find someone else. Try and do a trial before a deposit and then have a trial closer to the wedding is a great tip. I do that a lot. If a bride's like, oh, I really want to have a trial before I pay deposit, I'm like, great, let's have just a trial of our makeup. And then I'll see you 3 months from your wedding. And it always works amazingly.
Okay, great. All right. I think that wraps it up. Thanks so much for sitting through this, nearly about to give birth. I'm glad waters didn't break.
I had a
while
lot
we're
of
going.
kicks.
Did you?
Yes.
But you made it.
Thanks.
It's a lot of talking for, someone ready to pop. So really appreciate you coming down and
thanks for having
talking
me.
with me. Lots of advice.